the only reason why not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why I put a lot of stock into it is because, and I have no experience in military and government or anything, and I'm only, from people I talk to and things that I see on TV and stuff, is like the fact that, I forget what his name was, but there was a reporter recently in the past, I think in like 2016, he was driving his Mercedes, and he was actually about to release some information or something that he had on the Clintons, and literally he got into a car accident, and they said that his car was at like 110 miles an hour, and he hit a tree and it exploded. Then I watched an episode of Joe Rogan, and there's a former CIA agent talking about, Rogan's like, straight up, he's like, would the government have the capabilities of, taking your car? And he's like, yeah, if your car has a computer in it, they could easily hack it and do whatever they want to it. But then what got me was the whole Epstein thing of this man, there's a log of President Bill Clinton being on his private plane 26 different times.
At least.
I have friends that I've known for over 20 years. I've never flown with them one time, right? That, like, doesn't make sense to me. And then the day after he acknowledges Epstein in prison, that he's going to talk and he's going to fucking sing, he hangs himself. And then just recently, the autopsy came out and was not...
I saw it.
Yeah. So it's like, that shit, I don't know.
No. It draws suspicion. Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Even something as personal and disastrous as suicide, anybody that's connected with the Clintons, as soon as Ron Brown dies, he's the Secretary of Commerce, the rumor around D.C. was that he was cooperating with the FBI in an investigation into the Clintons, that he was spilling the beans.
Damn.
He's Bill Clinton's Secretary of Commerce, I think it was. He's this nice guy.
He died?
On a military plane, flying over a range of mountains in Europe or somewhere that's hard to get to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You couldn't have planned it any better.
Yeah. Like,
what's the chances that that's a coincidence?
Wow.
And supposedly the first rescue people on the scene say that there was a bullet hole in the back of his head.
What?
So I don't know. And when I say rescue, I mean, by the time they got there, it was, I forget the name of the mountain range and where it was, over in Europe, Bosnia somewhere, but it was hard to get to and it took forever. And it's suspicious.
Yeah. Everything pretty much, they either die in a suicide or an accident. A lot of these
So
people,
the car thing you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Okay.
And so here's what they did before.
No, you're good.
Here's what they did before the one of the ways they did this. They could have done this Arkansas. We used to call them the Arkansas, the one car Arkansas suicide. And then usually they were found. The first story is they committed suicide, and then when somebody figured out that they had bullet holes in the back of their head, then it was they lost control of the car. So usually what would happen, they do this thing called a bump and run. So somebody comes up behind you really fast, one car first. And he gets up behind you, and he gets up behind you, he flashes his lights, and he basically makes you speed up a little bit. And then he moves up to the left, and the other guy comes up behind you and starts pushing you harder and getting you to the point. And then when they get you right where they want you, and they see something on the road that there's an obstruction like a tree or whatever, then this guy pushes you over.
Damn.
So that's what the stories were from Arkansas back in the day.
Wow.
And I ran into a deputy sheriff one time down there years ago before Clinton actually won. I was protecting Papa Bush. And we got into a discussion about the Clintons, and he said, let me tell you something about them. The crazier it is, the truer it is, and everything you hear about them, believe it. He said, this guy said, listen, my dad grew up with Bill Clinton's mother.
Wow.
We know them intimately. There's a reason we call them the Arkansas Mafia.
What?
He goes, it is the crazier the story, Gary. He said, you believe it. He said, if that guy runs, he'll win. He'll be there for 8 years. And he said, she'll eventually run.
And that's exactly what happened.
And that was 1991.